My inspiration for the ophthalmology marketplace came when I was a very young person just starting off with Allergan. At that time, I had been trained by Allergan, meaning I'd read the manual so I could read about patients that had things like glaucoma or cataract surgery and what happened to them and all that sort of thing. And all that made good sense to me, but it was black and white, and it was reading. And then the next part of my training was to actually follow or work with an ophthalmologist for a couple days. And that was really eye-opening, because you'd go into lanes with the ophthalmologist and there would be a grandmother who would break down in tears because she was so thankful that her vision was restored by cataract surgery, or that their glaucoma was not going to cause blindness. And at that point, that's when you realize, wow, this is truly inspirational because it changes people's lives. And that's where my inspiration really came from. What I try to talk to our employees at Aerie about is find something that inspires you that is bigger than you. And what I say to them, frankly, is if you're in this business because you just want to make as much money as you possibly can, well, then you could be good, but you'll never be great. To be great, you've got to have some drive of yourself, but you've got to come onto something that's actually bigger than you. And that's what I mean when you think back to those, the experiences that happen that we're changing people's lives, we're improving people's lives. And it's not black and white reading it on a piece of paper, but it's seeing it and talking to these people. That's, I think, is what can really drive people. And I think that's what can take people from good to actually being great. What we're trying to do, the approach we have with Aerie is to do something better and make it different. As a good example is Ropressa, our glaucoma product. It's a rho kinase inhibitor. That's the first new class of drugs to enter the glaucoma market in better than 20 years. So better than 20 years has been a drought for a new class of drugs in ophthalmology, but we were able to do that with our product called Ropressa. Now, what that means is we're willing to take the risks. That is, take the risks of having failures. Because anytime you're trying something new, you're bound to fail more times than you're going to succeed. But you've got the intelligence and the persistence and the stick-to-itiveness to keep persevering, then you can hit the home runs. And one thing I also say, to back up that wasn't a one-shot wonder, if you take a look at our retina program now, we are experimenting with products, and we're going to take them into the clinic next year that have new mechanisms of action, new mode of drugs, or new mode of therapy in the retina space as well too. They're not anti-VEGF therapies, they're not steroids, they're also rho kinase inhibitors and inhibitors of protein kinase C. So we think we can tackle retina disease in a much different way than it's been handled today, much like we did in glaucoma. But I think we have 3 milestones right around the corner that'll be very important for Aerie. The first is the approval of Rocklatan, which is our glaucoma drug. It's a combination product that combines the active ingredient from Ropressa with the active ingredient from latanoprost or Xylatan. And by the way, Xylatan was the top-selling eye drop ever in the world, right? So that's our first milestone. The second milestone is we'll be filing our INDs, assuming that they're accepted. We'll be able to start our clinical trials next year with our retina program, which again is a new area for us, but we're quite excited about that. But that'll get us into that next area. And the third key milestone is getting Ropressa approved in Europe. Now, our MMA has been accepted in Europe, so we're about a year away from hearing about that file. Hopefully, Ropressa will be approved in Europe, and that'll open up 2 doors for us. One, to begin commercialization in Europe when we want to, and the second, that'll also open the door for us to file our MMA for Rocklatan in Europe as well too. So those 3 key milestones are what we'll be looking at in the not too distant future. Yeah, I think patients should be even more excited today than they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, because what's happened is that this marketplace is driven by companies on one hand and also physicians on the other hand. The common thread between us is we all care about innovation and how innovation can impact patients' lives. So we're willing to take risks, we're willing to raise money, willing to give money to keep moving our inventions forward for that whole purpose of making eyesight better and making patients' lives and the quality of life better than it is today. So I think the state of this industry is better than it's ever been, and I think it's just going to get better and better each and every year. Yeah, I think the best piece of advice I ever received from my career was make sure that you are in it because you absolutely care about what you're doing. Because I think if you really care about what you're doing, then you could take whatever you're doing and make it not just good, but you can make it the best it's ever been. So I think that's really what it's all about, is making sure you care about what you're doing. Yeah, I think the one rule that we always hold true, that I hold true, and I think our company holds true as well, is always treat people with respect. Now, that's very easy to do when you and I are in agreement, or we know what we're going to do and all that sort of thing. That's easy to do then. What gets more difficult is when we are in violent disagreement about what we should do. And we have some very smart people in our company, highly opinionated people. And it's very not uncommon for them to come together and say, I disagree with what you say. The thing is, we can work those issues out and find the best answer between the two parties if we can, as long as we treat people with respect. And as long as we continue to do that, then our company will continue to grow. Sure, I think what's wonderful about OIS is it really does give a chance to put people together that have a difficult time getting together most often. Meaning, you've got KOLs here, you've got companies here, you've got investors here, you've got people that give a chance to tell their story, to see who might be interested in finding out more about that story. And of course, every company can sit here and listen to all the presentations today and say, I'd like to find out more about that therapy, about that technology, whatever it might be. And of course, you can talk to people who can also invest in your company as well too. So I think it is a wonderful opportunity. I think you can tell just by, first off, the attendance that we have here again today. It's something around 1,100 people, which is absolutely incredible. And then you think about that this isn't the only OIS that's done every year. The people have to rush here. They've got 4 chances now with OIS, AAO, OIS, ASCRS, OIS, ASRS, and of course, now the optometry OIS as well too. So it just shows you, I think, the demand for OIS and the opportunities that it provides us is very, very, very strong.